show you how to disinfect your facial area. We have these chairs here for clients. I'll also show you how to disinfect with your hydraulic chairs. You guys have done this before, but after the disinfection, I want to show you how to set it up so that it's hygienic for your client. So you just want to spray your surface just like you always do. If you can leave on 10 to 15 minutes, that's great. If you don't have time for that, then you don't have to every time. But you want to get every surface. You also want to get your chair. And if you're going to be setting your supplies on a tray, which is highly recommended, you would also disinfect that. Let it set if you can. If not, just go ahead and wipe it off. Then you want to make sure that you cover the chair. You don't want your client's bare skin, even though you've just disinfected. It's not comfortable to touch the chair. So, in an ideal situation, you would use sheets. We don't have enough sheets for everybody, so I'll show you how to do this on your hydraulic chairs with a towel. So you want to completely cover the chair with a sheet. When I actually do demonstrate the facial, I'll show you how to drape their head so that that is not touching as well. You would lay them down. Then you take another sheet, unfold it, and just lay that across the chest area and down. Also in an ideal situation, if you can have your client take their straps down so you can get to their shoulders, that is good as well. Or you can buy some wraps that you can have for your clients to wear. So that is how to set up the big client chair, and then you guys do it on each other in class. You'll be using these chairs. This is where we use the headrest. So if your headrest doesn't go in, you just have to loosen this knob back here. So you're going to spray everything again. Bottle needs to be refilled. Let it set if possible. Wipe. Now the downsides to these chairs, and one of the reasons we order facial chairs, they don't recline up. So if a client's sitting in here for a long time, sometimes their legs get a little bit numb. So these aren't the ideal chairs, but they do work for practicing purposes. Once your client is sitting in the chair, have them lean up a little bit, and then just goes forward and slowly ease them back. We've had a lot of people fall down in these chairs. So you want to make sure they're sitting up when you do that. But before you even do that, you might want to check, because this chair is very dirty once it's leaned down. And get all that clean. A lot of hair in there. And that is something you would not want your client to see. Okay, and then just like we did with the other chair, if you have a sheet, you can use that to cover it. The sheets are kind of big for these though. But you want to at least, where the client might have bare shoulders touching, it's going to be up here. You really don't have to worry about the bottom part. You want to put a towel here. Lay them down. You can put another towel over the top of them. And then also, just take one of your shampoo capes and gently lay that across their chest as well to cover them up if you don't have the sheet. Your supplies you would have on a tray. You just put them in the order that you're going to use them, and that is how you set up the facial. We're going to go through the facial procedure. I already showed you how to get your chair ready. I'm sanitizing my hands. My client's ready to go. I do need to, of course I'd sanitize my hands before I get her area ready and lay her down, but I'm going to show you how to drape her head. A couple different ways. One thing you can do is take a towel, take opposite corners like that, and then put it around. You want to make sure you tuck all the hair in. And then you can clip it in the back if needed, but really if they're laying down, their head should hold it for you. That's one way. You can also use just the headband, which I think is the way I'm gonna do it today. Okay. Just wanna make sure you try to keep all the hair tucked in as good as you possibly can. Or you can use a turban. I have a turban here too. I think the headband's sufficient. She has her hair up for me, so that will be fine. Okay, so client is draped, ready to go. You want to analyze the skin at this point. That will help you determine what products you need. We don't really have a lot of choices with the products that we use in class, but there are different products formulated for different types of skin. I'm going to use a variety of what we have from lab for this. Okay, the first thing then you want to do, and you can sit behind your client. I'm standing because I'm short and I don't have an adjustable chair. First thing you want to do is get some cleansing cream or whatever cleanser you're using. This is a cream. This is actually designed for dry skin. Client does not have dry skin, but this is the easiest one to show how to do things. You want to use a spatula to remove, and I just put some on the back of my hand and then get a little in my hands, emulsify it. That is going to warm it up a little bit. You don't want to touch your client with cold fingers. And then you're just going to start below the chin. And you want to always work in upward motions. If you drag downwards, then that is going to cause wrinkling of the skin. So you want to work upwards motion. Get the cream on every part of the skin. When you go to state board, you'll actually use a Q-tip for the mouth and eye area. She does not have makeup on, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just applying it all over the skin using upward motions. To remove the cleansing cream, you can just use cotton rounds, or you can use tissue wrapped fingers where you just wrap the tissue around your fingers. Cotton rounds are easier. So I just get two. And again, you just want to do the upward motion. If there's a lot of makeup, you might have to do this a couple times. And if any collects where cotton round doesn't work real well, like in the corners of the lips or the eyes, you can use a Q-tip for that. All right. Of course, you want to have a trash so you can throw everything away. Your next step then is an optional. It is to apply exfoliant, which basically is a scrub. Now it's going to be hard to open because my hands are oily. You want to have everything set up in an order that makes sense on your table, usually the order that you're going to need your products. That way you're not fumbling around and knocking things over and breaking the relaxation of your client. So an exfoliant does not have to be used every day. It's like a once a week, twice a week type thing, depending on what you're using. But it does help to remove dry skin, and it just helps to remove anything excess on the skin. It helps with cell renewal so that your skin renews itself every 25 to 28 days, and that just helps to get all that dead stuff off so the new stuff can grow. Again, always upward motions. Make sure you cover every part of the face. And if you need to readjust, you don't want to get a lot of stuff in their hair, and readjust as needed. Okay, at this point, you can use a cotton round again to remove any excess. I'll go ahead and do that. But then I'm going to steam her face. And we have our nice towel warmers that we can do that with. I don't have that here. So I'm just going to take a towel and wet it and then put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. So you can go ahead and pause the video. All right, so I have steamed this towel. I put it in actually for 30 seconds because by the time I get back over here, it kind of cools down. I'm going to take it and fold it lengthwise. And I'm just going to put it in her chin and bring the ends around so that her nose and her mouth are so exposed because we want our clients to be able to breathe. And then you just kind of press down a little bit. This should feel good for your client. So I just dampened a towel and I put it in the microwave for just a little bit. But we have our towel warmer, so we don't need to do this step. After it sets on for a couple seconds, I just use a towel to remove any excess that's on there. Okay, so that covers cleansing and exfoliating, steaming. We're going to move on to massage cream. So same situation, you want to use your spatula to remove it. Put some on your hand, back of your hand. Get some in your hands and emulsify. I'm going to put a little extra because with the cleansing cream I had to dip into my hand twice and I had to take my hands away from her face. I don't want to have to do that. I'm going to start again, upward movements. Make sure you get everything covered. Alright, and then I'm just going to start right into the massage. I'm going to look at the paper for this. I don't want to miss anything. So the first movement is the relaxing movement. You want to start down at the bottom and you just come up with your fingers with light pressure to her nose and around her cheeks and up to the forehead. Keep one hand there and then put both your hands back down. You don't want to break contact. Up to the nose and up to the forehead. Nice and slow. You want to repeat each movement 3 times. And this just helps relax your client. The next movement is your hands are up here at the top, so you do what's called stroking digital effleurage. You go across the forehead, and then I just rotate on the temples for extra relaxation. It's a motor nerve point. And if you rotate on motor nerves, it just causes extra relaxation. Across the forehead and rotate. And repeat that movement 3 times. I like to use 3 fingers. If you just do this with 1 finger back and forth, it's not as relaxing if you're using 3 of your fingers. And then we have another one. This is actually, it says effleurage on your paper, but this is actually considered a friction movement at State Board. You take 2 fingers and just go back and forth. You're like making little C shapes. And again, rotate by the ear, just back and forth. Again, you want to repeat 3 times. You don't want to do this super fast, nice and slow, so that it relaxes your client. Now we're going to take our fingers to the inner corner of the eye. And this one you can just use 2 fingers and just go down the nose, and then on the tip of the nose. Keep 1 finger there, move back up. Massage down the nose 3 times. These are, if they're just a circular motions, they're considered effleurage, just a relaxing movement. I'm going to keep 1 hand there, flip my page. Okay, now I'm going to put my hands down the chin, and I'm going to go, starting at the inner corner of the eyebrow, I'm just going to press and slide, press and slide 4 times. And then around the temples in circles. And then I'm going to move underneath the eye and return. Press, press 4 times. You want to repeat that 3 times. 4 times across the eyebrow and then rotate. Now my hands are already down by the chin, so I'm going to put them there right under the chin area, and I'm going to do what's called a heavy friction across the chin. This helps break down fatty tissue. Sometimes they call it ironing the chin. You don't want to use too much pressure that it's going to be uncomfortable. Okay, the next one is just circular effleurage around the mouth and chin. You're just circling around that area 3 times. People get wrinkles in this area from smile lines, so this helps with that. And now I'm going to do several movements across 3 lines, from the chin to the bottom of the ear, from the corner of the mouth to the middle of the ear, and from the corner of the nose to the temples on both sides. So the first one is going to be circular motion. I'm going to lightly slide back. I don't want to slide with pressure because that's going against the muscles and you don't want to cause wrinkling. But I don't want to take my hands away from your face, so I just do it real lightly. That movement you would also repeat 3 times, but I'm going to move on just for the sake of time. The next one's called digital plucking. This is considered petrissage. You'll have to show this one at state board. You want to take your thumb and your index finger and just fold your index finger in and just pinch across those same 3 lines. This also helps break down fatty tissue, and it's very stimulating. So you repeat that 3 times. And then the last one with the 3 lines is called tapotement. It's a tapping movement. It's also called percussion. You just take that one makes people smile. You just take your fingers across the cheeks, and it just breaks down fatty tissue and helps wake up the skin a little bit. And now I'm going to do a flipping of the chin movement. I may have gotten my chin movements backwards, but it doesn't matter, because this one's the one they're calling ironing the chin. Anything that's fast and light like this helps break down fatty tissue. That was the flipping the chin movement. And then you would actually go down the neck and chest if your client had like something strapless on, but I'm not going to do that today. That's optional. Okay, at that point, you just kind of want to lightly take your hands off. Remove the massage cream. Again, you can use cotton rounds. You can also steam it again if you would like, which I think I'm going to do because I know Caitlin's not going to want an oily feeling face. So she's going to want that extra steaming. So I'm going to go ahead and get another hot towel, steam it, and then I'll show you how to apply astringent as the final step. Go ahead and pause. Okay, so we're going to fold the towel again. Let it steam. We have an optional step coming, and that would be a mask or pat. Would you like a mask, Caitlin?
Sure.
I know you would. You do them all the time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just remove all the excess. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the final step that you do at state board, and if you're not going to apply a mask, you would actually put cotton rounds on her eyes to protect them. And then you take astringent and just lightly spray. About 4 inches from the face. You can also put astringent on your cotton rounds. We would get new ones. We wouldn't use the ones we put on our eyes, but and you can remove it that way as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use the mask though, because I know she's not going to want her face feeling oily. This is a detoxifying mask. I'm just going to put it on the back of my hand again. when you are doing these in, try not to touch my skin with it. When you're doing these in class, you can put them in little containers. Take them right to your unit that way. Always, again, upward movements. If you're not using upward movements, you are not going with the muscles of the face, and you can cause premature wrinkling. Same thing when you're applying your makeup or anything that you apply to your face. Use upward movements. So with any of these creams, you want to avoid the eyes and the mouth. I just got a little on her lips, but clients don't like to taste what you're using when they're trying to relax. Okay, so after you had applied the mask, you let it sit on for about 10 to 15 minutes, let them relax. You can start cleaning up everything while that's happening, as long as you're not noisy about it, because you want them to be able to lay and relax. And then you can use a steam towel again to remove. Your very last step would be to apply moisturizer, and then if you're doing makeup, you would do their makeup. I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm going to let her set because the rest of it's pretty easy. You can also use astringent again if you need to after you steam the face, but usually after a mask you don't need to use the astringent. And that completes after it would be removed and you'd apply moisturizer. That would complete the facial. All done.